Greetings, the man who forgot that his mobile suit could transform, Rigil Agateiades here. If you've been watching my videos long enough, you'd know that I don't use transforming mobile suits much so that I don't embarrass myself. But a while ago, some of you asked me for tips on using this peculiar yellow thing, so I decided to give it just one go. And boy was I up for a surprise. It was simply marvelous. This is the 500 cost general type, Gaza G. And there's no better way to introduce this mobile suit than with a ridiculous amount of explosions. This is the signature weapon of the Gaza G, the chain explosion missiles. Just like any other chain explosion missile, these missiles explode continuously on the spot for 5 ticks. Each tick deals 275 damage. Firing 3 at once means you do an impressive 825 damage per tick. Then you add in the fact that these missiles fire every 0.8 seconds, so you can stack them up. And you're doing close to 2,500 damage per tick. With only 2% stagger, you're not getting an accumulated stagger this way, but enemies will be wise to not stay there for long. Not only do these explosions hurt, but they also apply a flinch on hit, preventing the enemy from firing a weapon. There really is no reason to stay in those explosions, even for a millisecond. As these missiles can only be used to transform, it's important to make these bombing runs on every possible opportunity. But at the same time, stagger accumulation can put a stop to this mobile suit easily because it only comes with shock dampeners when transformed, and nothing to reduce stagger accumulation. So make the bombing runs as frequently as possible, but be careful at the same time and not force one against a full enemy formation. The best play is to pick on isolated enemies so that you're very unlikely to be stopped halfway. Then the second thing to do on this mobile suit that's quite surprising for a Gaza series is to dive in for melees. While most Gaza series mobile suits makes us question why they need arms in the first place, the Gaza G leads them to swing its double beam sabers, as its melee attack is twice its ranged attack. Just make sure you get the stagger properly before you go in though. With the skills Fall Prevention System, Glide Structure, and Flight Control Program level 3, the Gaza G falls to the ground slowly and can use melee attacks mid-air. This means your best way to approach the enemy when meleeing is actually from directly above. The long range of the down attack motion also makes it easier to pull off, as you must be above a certain altitude to use aerial melees. Too low and you count as landing instead, so you can't melee, which was exactly the mistake I made. Fly straight up, make sure we're on the right weapon, and the missiles on the Gundam 05 cause us quite some damage because he has to fire standing still. Needless to say, the missiles work really well when your opponents are standing still as they take the full hit, but you can also simply throw them where the enemy is likely to head to, which is quite easy to tell when you're looking from above. Next up, before we talk about the other weapons, we first talk about the durability on this suit. With 20,000 base health, this is one tanky mobile suit. Add on top the special buffers for the gigantic parts on our shoulders, and the Gaza G can take a lot of punishment. Not when in front of 3 enemies at once. Got punished for our greed, but our teammates probably made it work out in the end. Back to the weapons on the Gaza G, the main weapon is the Shoulder Knuckle Buster. Shared between the mobile suit and mobile armor forms, this beam rifle comes with 5 shots and an instant stagger on each. Decent damage and short cooldown makes it a very easy weapon to use, but be aware that it fires from the right shoulder, so make sure you stick out far enough before firing it. The other weapon you'd use the most in mobile suit form is the Incendiary Missile Launcher. Firing 18 incendiary missiles that each do 2,250 fixed damage, they hurt way more than they look. Each missile hit also comes with 15% stagger. Unload all 18 shots and you'll probably get an accumulated stagger. Not the most reliable though because of the low missile speed. final weapon in mobile suit form is the Knuckles Sealant Launcher, or simply Bird Lime. While it comes with close to no damage, it's an invaluable second instant stagger. Most useful when you're trying to pull off melees. Even if you miss your Knuckle Buster, you still have a second chance. It also prevents transformation, but it doesn't force transformed enemies out of flight like the Medusa, so save it for after they landed. Enemy High Mobility Zaku late type reminds us why this mobile suit is far from unstoppable when transformed. The hitbox is huge, and it certainly isn't fast. In fact, that Zaku has the same thruster speed as us when we're transformed and on full throttle. That and the lack of damage control means the Gaza G has to be careful when in flight. But if you really want to push it, you can actually try and make use of the Fall Prevention program and Glide structure. Fall Prevention program stops instant staggers just like maneuver armor, while Glide structure reduces the stagger accumulation instead by 50%. So instead of its mobile armor form, the Gaza G is harder to stop when it's in free fall. This is a bit hard to do, but you can abuse this by transforming to mobile suit form mid-air when you see missiles flying your way. Take the stagger accumulation, and then transform back into mobile armor form. This takes a lot of thrusters on a normal suit, but with Transformation Optimizer reducing the thruster cost by 60%, this is a viable tactic on the Gaza G. Final 20 seconds, and we'll use it to save our dear Dom Nomides. Transform to pull out the incendiary missiles, cover all the spots the Psycho Zaku could probably run to, and there's nothing he can do about it. We then miss an entire body of incendiary missiles on the Gundam 05, and the game ends. That's certainly not supposed to happen, but I guess it means we did a good enough job chasing after the raid types. With tremendous damage potential with the chain explosion missiles, the Gaza G can do a surprisingly good job as a general type. The decent damage, good durability, and good handling makes it a very intuitive mobile suit to use, and if you want to push it, you also have the aerial melee and transformation shenanigans. Glad I decided to give it a try. That's it from me today, and latest.